Are you tired of being held back by worries and fears? Do you want to learn how to let go of the things that don't matter and focus on what truly matters? In this video, we'll explore 7 Stoic principles that can help you master the art of not caring and letting go. From accepting what you can't control to focusing on the present moment, these principles can help you live a more fulfilling and peaceful life. Number 1. Live according to nature. It tells us to live in balance with nature and understand that we are a part of a bigger world that has its own rules and rhythms. This principle isn't about giving up modern pleasures or living in the wilderness. Instead, it's about developing a way of thinking that fits with the natural world and with who we are as people. Before we can live in harmony with nature, we need to know what it is and how it works. In the Stoic view, nature is the set of sensible and orderly rules that govern the whole world. The cosmic logos, or heavenly reason, runs through everything and gives it shape and meaning. Nature is not disorganized or random. It is a complicated web of causes and effects that are all linked to each other. We are a part of this natural order as people. We have reason, which means we can think, decide, and act in a way that is in line with natural laws. Our reason is what makes us different from animals and links us to the holy logos. It is the most valuable thing about us and gives us freedom and respect. Being in tune with nature, then, means being in tune with our own reason and the reason of the world. It means working on traits like self-discipline, courage, wisdom, and fairness, which are in line with our rational nature. It means realizing that things like money, fame, and pleasure are not only out of our control, but they are also not important for a happy life. To live in harmony with nature, we must also accept our human nature, with all of its good and bad points. It means being aware of our flaws and weaknesses, as well as our depth and shortness. Meaning realizing that we need the natural world and other people to survive and thrive instead of being able to do everything on our own. We need to respect and be amazed by the natural world if we want to live in harmony with it. We need to understand that we are not in charge of the world, but rather a small part of it. We need to value the beauty and complexity of nature, especially the web of life that keeps us alive and gives our lives meaning. Living in harmony with other people is also part of living in harmony with nature. We need to understand that we are social people who are hardwired to connect with others and work together. We need to work on virtues like fairness, compassion, and understanding because they are important for making relationships and communities healthy. Also, we need to understand that even though our races, cultures, and religions are different, we are all related to each other as people. To live in harmony with nature, we have to make decisions that are in line with our beliefs and ideals. It means putting what's really important first and letting go of what's not important. It means taking things slowly and intentionally and being grateful for the gifts that the present moment brings. We need to take care of our physical, emotional, and spiritual health because they are all linked and necessary for our health. Being able to adapt and deal with change is also part of living in harmony with nature. It means realizing that life is always changing and has ups and downs, and that we need to be adaptable and creative to get through it. In other words, it means seeing problems and difficulties as chances to learn and grow instead of as things to avoid. Number 2, focus on what you can control. Being aware of the fact that we can't always control certain things in life is what this theory is based on. Philosophers called Stoics thought that a lot of our pain comes from trying to control things we can't and ignoring the things we can. Before you can focus on what you can change, you need to know what you can change and what you can't. They said that our own ideas, beliefs, opinions, and actions are the only things that are really up to us. We have no control over anything else, not even how other people act or what happens in the outside world. This doesn't mean we shouldn't care about things that aren't our responsibility or that we shouldn't try to change them when we can. It means that we should know what we can and can't change and not let things that are out of our control affect our happiness or well-being. To focus on what you can change, you need to develop a sense of power and self-responsibility. You need to understand that you write your own story and that the things you do and choose have results. You should be responsible for your own feelings, thoughts, and beliefs, and not let outside events or other people's ideas control them. While you're focusing on what you can change, let go of the need to change everything. You have to learn to be okay with the fact that some things in life are unclear, unpredictable, and out of your control. It means focusing on the here and now and the chances it presents instead of dwelling on the past or the future. To focus on what you can change, you also need to learn to step back and see things from a different point of view. You need to understand that things like money, fame, and pleasure that come from the outside are not only out of our control, but they are also not important for a happy life. You need to learn to value things like character, virtue, and knowledge, which are things you can change and are necessary for a good life. Focusing on what you can change means making goals and tasks that are attainable and working toward them. It means paying attention to the way things are done instead of the result, and being able to change things where they don't go as planned. It means taking charge of your own growth and progress, and not just reacting to things that happen. Focusing on what you can change also means taking charge of your feelings and how you react to things going on around you. It means not letting the actions or feelings of other people or outside factors affect your own. It means building up your inner strength and endurance so that you can handle anything life throws at you calmly. One important idea in Stoicism is to focus on what you can change. The message tells us to be aware of what we can and cannot control, and to own up to the things we can. To focus on what you can change, you need to develop a mindset of self-responsibility, choice, viewpoint, and separation. You need to make goals and plans that are attainable, work toward them, and control your feelings and responses to events in the outside world. You can find inner peace, strength, and a sense of purpose in life by focusing on the things you can change. Number 3, manage your expectations. Before you can control your goals, you need to know what they are. You have expectations when you think about what you think will happen or how you think things should be. Most of the time, they come from our past, community norms, or our own personal preferences. Expectations are bad because they are often too strict or not based on reality. People may think that life will always be fair and just, and that things will always go their way. When things don't go the way we thought they would, we might feel let down, upset, or angry. Managing your goals means developing a mindset that is open to change and acceptance. You need to understand that life has its ups and downs, and that plans don't always work out. You shouldn't try to force reality to fit your expectations. Instead, you should be ready to change your expectations to fit the situation. Being aware of your assumptions and biases is also a part of managing your goals. It's important to remember that your standards may be shaped by your own beliefs, values, and experiences, and they might not always match the truth or the whole picture. You need to be ready to see things from different angles and question what you think you know. To keep your demands in check, you also need to learn to be thankful and appreciate what you have. No matter how bad or great things are in your life, you should still be grateful for the good things that happen. You should think about what you have instead of what you don't have, and be grateful for the chances and good things that happen to you. Setting goals and standards that are reasonable for yourself and others is part of controlling your expectations. It means being clear about what you need and want, but also willing to listen and change your mind. It means being clear and firm about what you want, and also being open to hearing and understanding other people's points of view. Managing your standards also means being ready for things that don't go as planned. With a plan B or C, you can change things up and come up with new ideas when things don't go as planned. It means having the strength to get back up after a loss or disappointment. One of the most important ideas in Stoicism is to control your expectations. It's a reminder of how little we can control things and how important it is to have an attitude of openness, acceptance, and gratitude. To control your expectations, you need to be aware of your assumptions and biases, set goals and standards that are attainable, talk to people directly and firmly, and be ready for the unexpected. Keeping your goals in check can help you find peace, happiness, and balance in your life. Number 4, practice negative visualization. This theory comes from the idea that a lot of our pain comes from being attached to things and afraid of losing them. The Stoics thought that we can develop a sense of detachment, thanks, and strength by consciously thinking about the loss of things we value. Negative visualization, which is also called premeditation malaram, is the act of picturing bad things that will happen in order to get ready for them and lessen their emotional effect. It's not about being negative or dwelling on bad thoughts. Instead, it's about accepting that things change and are uncertain, and having a mindset of resilience and calmness. Before you can do negative visualization, you need to think about what you care about or value. Some examples are money, relationships, health, fame, or things you own. Then you need to think that you are losing or not having these things on purpose. You might picture yourself losing your job, breaking up with your partner, or getting sick. Negative visualization isn't meant to make you feel bad or anxious. It's meant to help you value the things you have and understand that they aren't constant or certain. It's also meant to help you get ready for problems that might come up and to build an attitude of resilience and adaptability. Visualizing bad things happening can also help you get over your fear of failing or being turned down. Imagine the worst thing that could happen on purpose. This can help you see that it's not as bad as you thought and that you can handle it. This can help you live a fuller life, take chances, and go after your goals. You can do negative visualization every day or once a week, or you can use it to deal with certain problems or stresses. You can write down your bad thoughts or use guided meditations or exercises to help you think of better ones. You can also mix negative and positive visualization by picturing both the things that could go wrong and the good things that could happen. It is important to remember that negative visualization should not be used instead of taking action or fixing problems. You can use it to help you control your thoughts and feelings, but you still need to do something about the problems or risks you are facing. One of the most important ideas in Stoicism is to practice negative thinking. It's a call to accept that things change and are uncertain, and to develop an attitude of detachment, gratitude, and strength. To do negative visualization, you need to think about the things you value and imagine losing or not having them. You can then use this exercise to help you control your feelings and thoughts. You can find peace of mind, courage, and a sense of purpose in life by adopting negative visualization. Number 5. Cultivate gratitude. People believe that this principle comes from realizing that a lot of our pain comes from not valuing what we have and taking things for granted. The Stoics thought that we can improve our health, relationships, and quality of life in general by choosing to be grateful. To be grateful, we have to recognize and say thank you for the good things in our lives. It's not about denying or ignoring the problems or challenges. It's about moving our attention and point of view to the good things. Being grateful is a choice, a habit, and a skill that can be built up and improved. To become more grateful, you must first understand what thankfulness can do for you. Researchers have found that being thankful is linked to many good things, such as more happiness, life satisfaction, resilience, and social ties. Being thankful can also help lower worry, anxiety, and depression, as well as boost health and sleep. To become more grateful, you need to practice it on purpose and regularly. There are many ways to do this, such as writing in a gratitude book, telling other people how grateful you are, or meditating or praying about gratitude. The important thing is to make being thankful a routine, not just something you do once in a while. Every day, write down 3 to 5 things you are thankful for in your gratitude book, and think about why these things are important to you. You could also write letters of thanks to people who have helped you and let them know how much you appreciate them. In your interactions with other people, you can show respect by saying thank you, giving compliments, or doing small acts of kindness. You can also listen carefully and with empathy when someone says thank you or appreciates something. When you meditate or pray, you might think about the present moment and be grateful for the little things that we miss, like the air we breathe, the food we eat, or the beauty of nature. You can also think about the problems or hard times you've been through and be grateful for the lessons or growth they have taught you. When you're grateful, you shouldn't compare yourself to others or compete with them. You also shouldn't feel bad or owed for what you have. Being grateful means understanding that the things you have are not your right or your guarantee, and appreciating their unique and personal value. One of the most important ideas in Stoicism is to learn to be grateful. It is a call to understand the benefits of being thankful and to consciously and regularly show gratitude. You can practice gratitude by writing in a gratitude book, telling other people how grateful you are, meditating on gratitude, or praying about gratitude. You can find peace, joy, and a sense of relationship with other people and the world by practicing gratitude. Number 6. Accept what comes your way. People follow this concept because they know that a lot of our suffering comes from trying to stop life from going as it should and from wanting things to be different than they are. To become peaceful, strong, and wise, the Stoics thought that we should just accept what comes our way. Acceptance doesn't mean being passive, giving up, or giving up on something. In this practice, you accept and love the present moment as it is, without resisting or judging it. To accept something, we have to realize that there are some things we can't change or control, and that our best bet is to adapt and deal with it instead of fighting it or ignoring it. Before you can accept what comes your way, you need to know what accepting means. To accept something is not the same as to agree or approve of it. You don't have to like or agree with something in order to accept it. It's also not the same thing to give up or give in. If you can change something, you can accept the way things are and still do something about them. To be able to deal with whatever comes your way, you also need to develop an attitude that is open to change. You need to understand that life is full of changes and problems, and that being able to deal with them is important for our health and happiness. Being open to the unknown and the unexpected is important. You must be ready to let go of fixed ideas or attachments. Accepting what comes your way means being aware of and accepting your feelings and thoughts without resisting or judging them. In this case, it means letting yourself feel sad, angry, scared, or hurt without trying to hide or avoid them. Being aware that these feelings are only brief and don't define you or your worth is also part of it. Accepting what comes your way also means not judging or being angry at other people for what they do. It means understanding that everyone has their own thoughts, reasons, and limits, and that their actions might not always match our needs or wants. We have to let go of our anger and forgive, and we have to think about what we can learn and grow from the situation. It's also important to understand that everything has a reason and a place in the bigger picture of life when you accept what comes your way. To accept the rhythms of birth, growth, decay, and death, and to value the beauty and intelligence of nature. One of the most important ideas in Stoicism is to accept what comes your way. It's a call to accept and love the present moment as it is, without resisting or judging it. To accept what comes your way, you need to know what acceptance means, develop an attitude of adaptability and flexibility, and practice accepting yourself, other people, and the way things are supposed to be. You can find inner peace, strength, and a sense of unity with the flow of life if you accept what comes your way. Number 7. Remember you will die. Remember that you will die. This is the 7th and last Stoic concept. This theory comes from the idea that a lot of our pain comes from being afraid of death and being attached to the material and short-term parts of life. The Stoics thought that we can develop a sense of balance, gratitude, and wisdom by consciously thinking about and accepting our own death. Remembering that you will die, which is also called memento mori, is the act of consciously thinking about how real and inevitable death is. Being aware of and accepting the natural cycle of life and death is what it means. This knowledge should shape our values, goals, and actions, not being morbid or pessimistic. Before you can remember that you will die, you need to know what death and change are. Death is inevitable and happens to everyone. It is the only thing that is certain in life. Everything is always changing and growing. Nothing is stable or set in stone. This is called impermanence. Keeping in mind that you will die is important, but so is having a viewpoint and being thankful. Perspective means being able to see the bigger picture and figure out how important different things are in comparison to each other. Gratitude means noticing and being thankful for the good things in our lives. It's good to think about our deaths on purpose because it helps us understand the worth and meaning of our lives and makes us more thankful for the chances and experiences we have. There are many ways to remember that you are going to die, such as through meditation, writing a book, or visualizing it. For more help remembering that life is real and changes all the time, you can use objects like a head or an hourglass. You might be able to focus on the present moment and enjoy the little things that we often don't notice, like the air we breathe, the food we eat, or the beauty of nature. You could also think about the problems or hard times you've been through and be grateful for the lessons or growth they have taught you. You could write down your feelings and thoughts about death and change in your journal. Then, think about how these thoughts and feelings can affect your values, goals, and actions. You could also make a list of the things you're thankful for and consider how lucky you are to have those things. You could picture yourself near the end of your life and think about the things that were most important to you and the memory you want to leave. You could also think about the things and people you love and be thankful for the time you spend with them. It is important to remember that knowing you will die does not mean you are careless or neglect your health or well-being. It means being aware of and accepting that life is real and changes all the time, and then using this knowledge to guide our values, priorities, and actions. The last and most important concept of Stoicism is to remember that you will die. It's a call to recognize and accept that death is real and will happen, and to let that understanding shape our values, priorities, and actions. To remember that you will die, you need to understand what death and change are, develop an attitude of perspective and gratitude, and regularly think about your own death. You can find peace, gratitude, and a sense of connection with the greater cycle of life and death if you remember that you will die.